Another Telling It Like It Is. My name is Jade Alberts, the founder of Peer Guidance. This is a live show. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section. We will get to them. If you're watching this after the fact, we will answer them and tag myself, BJ or Skyler, and we will get to them. I also wanted to bring to attention Edmonton Unlimited's community coffee. We combined Founders Coffee and Community Coffee to make one really good event every Wednesday in Edmonton from 9 to 11. The coffee is free. So come on down there, meet like-minded people, and start networking, because that's a very, very important part of being an entrepreneur, which I'm sure we are going to get to with our guests today, Skyler and BJ of BusinessWideView. How are you today?
Good. Thank you very much for having us. We're excited to be here.
Well, no, absolutely. I know we met, probably, I don't know how many months, 7, 8, 9 months ago. It's taken too long to get you on here, but, we've had quite a few conversations, and now that you were here, we'll finally have a good chin wag.
That's right. We're excited.
Well, exactly. So I love getting it. One thing that I love about talking, with entrepreneurs like yourself is learning about a little bit of the background and the history, and obviously with with your farm and everything, you've been an entrepreneur for a while. But how did you guys get into, the farming industry in the first? And I mean, I don't know how many generations it goes back, but please share your story.
Yeah, sure. I'll go first, Skyler, and then you can follow me. Yeah, so we're our family, fifth generation farmers and ranchers. But like most farmers and ranchers here, especially in Alberta, we've worked off the farm as well, and got some years experience in the oil and gas industry. And when it comes back to an entrepreneur, I think every farmer and every rancher is an entrepreneur, just with the day-to-day tasks that they and curveballs that get thrown at folks in this industry. So, always been passionate about innovation and utilizing modern technology. We started another company years ago called Safety Onsite, and it was a company, or it was a product designed for people working in remote areas. And not only in oil and gas, but the farmer and rancher too. And I remember a gentleman that we spoke to years ago that was out in his field and got caught, or he was basically caught in his rock picker, and had to use his own pocket knife to release himself from there because he was in a remote area. And so we've always been doing entrepreneurial stuff, Jade, and Business Wideview is no different than some of the other stuff that we've done in our life.
Well, that's interesting. And Skyler, I know, my grandpa was a farmer, my uncle was a farmer. He still has a few hundred head of cattle, and things like that. And obviously, Clint and Lindsay, his sons, stayed in it. But Nicole, she's now a PhD doctor working out of McGill. So what was your inspiration to kind of stay involved?
Yeah, so obviously raised in it, like you said, you kind of just become passionate to it. You learn that it's a way of life, and it's a damn good one. The animals are amazing. So I don't know. I honestly been an entrepreneur kind of from my young teenage years. I would buy and sell horses. I would train them and then sell them. So I'd make a little bit of money off the top. So I started kind of doing it, entrepreneuring that way, and then staying around the home because, well, I love my horses and the cows are good for the horses. So kind of did that. And then, yeah, you just kind of do whatever, and you learn to do whatever, and you learn to love the industry. And I guess I just couldn't see my life doing anything else other than agriculture. And I would love to raise my children in agriculture as well.
Well, and that is interesting. Well, let's talk about that. And I know you're getting married. Congratulations here, coming up in August. That's going to be exciting. Your dad has it penciled in, he said. So he said he'll be there, which is good. But let's talk about having that family business, and working with your dad, working side by side, maybe on the ranching side, and then we'll start, maybe dive into how that evolved into, Business Wide View, and going from, adding tech into your entrepreneurship.
Yeah, we've obviously worked together my entire life. From the time we were young, we were going out with mom and dad and fencing or treating cows or anything. So we learned to work alongside each other at a very early age. I wouldn't say it was all sunshine and rainbows, because sometimes it drives me crazy, but it honestly teaches you to communicate, which is great in, everyday life, not just between my father and I. So you learn how to communicate, you learn how to, get over things by yourself or talk it out and work through it. So it's great that way. It's awesome working with your family. You stay in touch a lot more and you get to see each other more. And yeah, it's amazing. It's quite the dynamic. Moving tech our life was a little different. BJ is not the most techiest person, nor many other farmers or ranchers. So I guess that's kind of where I would come in and being a younger generation, we've had phones our whole lives. So I would a little bit and he'd get mad at me because it wasn't working the way that it worked for me. But yeah, it's good. It's been great. I made BusinessWideView as user friendly as we could for individuals like BJ and other farmers and ranchers.
Well, and you know what, but BJ, why don't you expand on that a little more? Let's talk about why you wanted to go to or bring the focus of Business Wide View. What was your grand vision, and obviously all along was it wanting to have it be a family business and everybody involved?
Well, not so much, even though that's how it's kind of been here as of lately. Our whole goal. Well, let me back up, Jade. Business Wide View is an agriculture company, and even though the name Business Wide View doesn't scream ag or agriculture, there's a reason for that. And we were a guest with Tyler Chisholm on his podcast, and I was explaining on how we came up with the name Business Wide View, and the whole idea behind it, Jade, was we needed to widen our view on how we looked at things and how we did things in the ag space, and utilizing modern day technology in doing that. So it was more of getting away from the tunnel vision, have that wider view, and treat it like a business. I mean, even though a lot of farms and ranches here in Canada are family owned, and to be successful in this industry, you got to treat it like a business. And so that's how the name Business Wide View came about. When it comes to what Business Wide View offers for farmers and ranchers and even consumers is a place for people to knowledge share, a place for people to collaborate, and just we always like to reference a one-stop ag shop, that one location where folks can come to not only see what's new or what's happening in the ag space, but also, get weekly grain reports, weekly cattle reports. Skyler and I do a weekly podcast as well. And so we have a wide range of guests that we've had on and just talking about general stuff, whether that is, the cattle market or whether that is the annual rainfall we're receiving or whether it's succession planning. We talk about all sorts of different things, and it's been really, really fun doing that in the fact of you get to have so many unique conversations and meet so many interesting people. Some of our podcasts, have been really emotional conversations, and so it's been fun.
No, I mean, and I think the podcast side of thing is a great way to bring the community together, have people come on. As we were talking before we went live here, saying, man, so many people want to come on your show and talk and share their story, and yes, emotions are part of it. Even 3 weeks ago, I was having a lady on, Amy, and the day before she goes, I gotta almost shut down my business and move it to a side of the desk thing because it's not paying the bills and I got to go back to work. And she's like, should I be on the show still? I'm like, absolutely. Let's talk about it, because entrepreneurship is not easy. No. And sometimes we glorify it. And it is very difficult. And I even had Dan on a minute, and he's a psychologist, and he works with family businesses, and they have a family business. And it was probably one of my most interesting podcasts, talking about how to separate, the dinner table from the boardroom table. And that can be very, very, very difficult, in times. So how do you guys, Skyler, maybe we'll go to you. Like, how does that work? How do you guys take, and we've got our business, and we've got the business wide view, we've got the ranching side of it, and then we've got our family. Like, how does that all come together?
Well, the ranching side of it, that's very much my brother. My brother and me communicate more on that. Then on BusinessWideView side, we actually, from the very beginning, it was BJ's idea. We totally disconnected communication. So if it was BusinessWideView, we would do it through, say, WhatsApp. And if it was personal, I would text him about it or call him about it. So those were totally separate. If it's the weekend, we try not to talk about work. We just kind of catch up on actual life, because realistically throughout the week, we don't talk too much about our personal lives. So on the weekend, that's where we catch up and kind of leave the business aside. Obviously, there are some exceptions, but I would say that's how we balance it for sure, is have different avenues of communication for each avenue of life, and try and shut your brain off of work for at least a day.
Yeah, that's always very important, to shut your work, get away, run away, do whatever you can, and not think about it.
Yeah.
And BJ, how about for yourself?
Yeah, no, just to echo what Skyler said, I think it's very important to have that balance, because especially on a startup company, you're so engaged, and it's on your mind 24/7, 365, and dedicating some time in the evenings, or like Skyler said, on the weekends, to talk about father-daughter stuff, and not business stuff. So having that balance, I think, is critical. Otherwise, you might be at each other too much, and then it's not the most effective way of dealing with your personal life, nor your business.
No, absolutely. And for anybody that wants more information, you just click on the comment section in the website, businesswideview.com. You'll be able to find out more, catch up on some of their podcasts, see what they're doing. So I want to dive into the business itself. As you said, you've had a business before. You obviously, have your family business as ranchers and farmers. So how has this different, running into the kind of the tech world, and doing an app? What have been some of the things that is really different from from what you've done? What have you learned, and I guess what would you do different, if you had it a second time around?
Yeah, good question, Jade. Business Wide View is, obviously it's supporting an industry that I'm personally super passionate about. And, it's an industry that not only feeds us, but feeds the rest of the world. And we need to have platforms like Business Wide View for producers to tell their story. And so, some of the options Business Wide View offers is our ag network, where people can post and share pictures, comments, news articles, etc. But then we also got the ag channel, where people can actually take a short video and use it for educational purposes as well, whether that is replacing a bearing on a baler, or how they gather up their livestock, and what their protocol is when they're weaning, etc. So we had a guest a few episodes back, and she made a comment that really caught my ear, and her comment was, if we don't start telling our own story, somebody else is going to tell it for us. And I think people are starting to really be interested on where their food comes from and how it gets to them grocery stores. And in a lot of cases, people don't realize the sacrifices us ag folks do at times. And I'll give you an example. We bring calves into our own home, and we know during calving time when they're a fresh born calf and they need to get warmed up, there's producers out there that got no problem bringing these things right into their own home to give them the best shot of a healthy life. So I mean, these are some of the stories that the consumer are really wanting and enjoying to hear, because I don't know how, but it seems like we've got that disconnect created where there's a generation out there that just figure going to the store is where their meat comes from, or their eggs or whatever. So having a platform that not only supports the people within the industry, but also supports people that want to learn about our industry or even get into the industry, and having that one-stop ag shop that BusinessWideView offers, I think is a key component to supporting our industry.
No, I think that's such a very good point, right? I mean, you know of, someone like up in Edmonton of Truspix and Hubert and what they're doing from gate to plate to managing Walmart using blockchain to manage your logistics to make sure that everything, not only for safety, but what's going into the food, how it's being fed, all those types of things. It's becoming more and more, aware, and more, in my opinion, it's not, totally mainstream yet, but it's becoming more and more mainstream on that side of things. So the more that we can actually get out there, share that story about food, so supporting locals. You have guys, Cultivator and Dan, trying to work with ranchers and deliver their food and their supplies. Like, God, even here, like I'm looking like a local company here, right? Like a snack thing, right? Like, again,
Yeah.
We don't have to, have pretzels from somewhere else. We've got an entrepreneur who's doing it here herself and supporting them. So I love sharing those stories that are out there, and supporting local. And then sometimes that's tough, and getting to the, getting to the point and sharing all the great things that are going on here with vertical farming. And, we're, I hate saying this, but we're not American enough sometimes. And, we don't have to boast and be arrogant about it, but we should be able to brag about what we are doing here. And I think what you guys are doing, and bringing awareness to that, is awesome. So, again, I've always been always been supportive of you guys and what you're doing. And that's why we're having this conversation on here. So I guess to expand on that a little bit, Skyler, I don't want to say what's next, because that's going to come down the road here. But, in the last little bit, what would you have changed, let's say, in the last year or so on your journey of, launching and growing BusinessWideView?
Oh man. You put me on the spot.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know. What I would change is maybe just how hard it is to get awareness out there about a startup company. Where do you start? And everything that people at the beginning would tell us, boost on social media. That's how you can reach more people. But that's hard because it's hard to see your return of investment on something like that. So I guess the struggles with getting awareness on a startup company and getting awareness within your targeted audience is also huge. It's, maybe not as hard to get people from Calgary to hear about us, or Edmonton, but we want to get to rural Alberta. So yeah, I guess that would be what I would want to change.
Oh, are you on mute?
No, I think we're still good.
Okay, good. Okay, we're good. You want to expand on that, BJ?
Yeah, sure. That's a really good point, Skyler. It is just that, that is definitely one of the challenges, I think, for startups is getting the word out there, educating people what you're trying to achieve. And, some of the other challenges is, how frustrating it can be at times. The emotional roller coaster, just in everyday life. I think it's important to have a really good balance with that. Don't get too high on the highs and don't get too low on the lows. Just keep it middle ground, and keep putting that one foot in front of the other. And tomorrow's another day.
No, absolutely. And to kind of go to that next level, I think we are having a lot of positive things coming through, especially on that ag tech. Startup TNT is running their own ag tech summit, And I mean, even talking about that here with Neil and everything, saying, you know what, probably made the you know the qualifications a little too, I don't know, a little too tight, if I guess is the right word, right? You've got someone like Alberta Innovates supporting SVG, and I know you guys have applied for that and hopefully get into the next cohort. So, and Spencer and everybody that they have team members are hiring here. You've got one of the big ag tech funds that have started here, Tallgrass, with Chris and Wilson, and then a few others that are starting ag tech funds. So I think that the word is starting to get out there because it is our heritage. It is something that you can't think Alberta without thinking ranching and farming, in my opinion, right? I mean, yes, we've got oil and gas and things like that, but between this province and Saskatchewan and part of Manitoba, I mean, you can almost say we do feed the world.
Yeah, totally. Couldn't agree with you more, Jaden. And just going back to your previous comment earlier on, we're, as Canadians, we're pretty modest. And when you reference the oil and gas industry, I think Canada has the regulations to pull one of the cleanest barrels of oil out of the ground in from the rest of the world. And same with our egg. Let's talk about beef. I think, I'm a Albertan and Canadian, but I think Canada has some of the most best tasting beef than you can find around the world as well. So, being able to, tell the story about that on, this is what we do. And we have good products that come out of Canada, and there's subject matter experts in different industries within Canada. And I think with, all this podcasts and all the stuff that we're even doing here today, having the ability to have these conversations and getting that word out to wider audiences is a step in the right direction for sure. Because, at the end of the day, being on the front lines of being a rancher myself, it's not all smooth sailing when it becomes being a producer. I mean, there is a lot of hurdles and hoops that we have to jump through, and it's not all the same. Every year is a different year. Taking this year as an example, I mean, we've got dry conditions again in lots of different places. We've had forest fires in lots of different places across the country of Canada. We've had floods even. You shouldn't even go in the same sentence, fires and floods. But anyways, these are some additional curveballs and that get thrown at producers, and we just keep doing what we do, and because we're passionate about it. Trust me, we're not doing this for the money, because there's no money in this industry. We're doing it because we're passionate about it, and we're doing it because it's our belief that without the ag industry, people just don't eat. And so it's something that needs to have awareness out there, in my opinion. And we need to start getting the word out there in any fashion we can. And, that's just circling back to BusinessWideView. That's one of BusinessWideView's goal is to bring all of these people underneath one umbrella that, you can jump onto BusinessWideView and get all sorts of different information that's needed to maybe help make decisions to run your day-to-day business. But it's also got a fun factor to it as well, that people can promote their own operation, whether they're selling bulls or selling hay or just want to show the day in the life of filling up a seed drill and putting some seed in the ground. So it offers lots of different things. Again, not only for the producer, but for the consumer as well, or any ag enthusiast that wants to learn more about the industry.
No, absolutely. And I think you bang on about getting the word out there, and it is a close community, controlling our own narrative so we don't get labeled something like the oil and gas sands did, because I believe 100% what you did. And the heart of our industry, tech is getting a lot of love right now, but it's going to be ag and oil for a long time. And probably our kids' lives, right? Like it's not going anywhere, and we have to we'll be stronger together. So I want to just touch again. I'm talking with BJ and Skyler of BusinessWideView. You can click on the website in the comments section. I want to I want to ask one quick question about your podcast and a little takeaway on what you just said, but I'll start with you, Skyler. What do you think that, each of you, have one little point that you're seeing different when you're having these conversations with, people in the industry? What's something that keeps coming up on a regular basis as you're having these conversations?
My quick point that would come to mind is our industry needs help. We are the industry that feeds the world, and like BJ said earlier, and it's not a joke, there is very minimal money in it. And producers work all year round, not knowing what we're getting paid at the end of the day, just depending on calf markets and stuff like that. So we need help. We need awareness on it. We need more people to support it. And um, another thing too that I just kind of want to touch on from our previous conversation is if you're curious about agriculture or you have doubts about agriculture, pick up the phone and call us or call someone that you know in the industry and get educated on it, because there's probably a lot that you don't know about or a lot that would change your take on it. If you are curious about agriculture, just reach out and talk to a producer, because we'll educate you the best that we can.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. BJ, how about yourself for that?
Yeah, no, just to add to what Skyler was saying, we get to be the face of BusinessWideView. BusinessWideView is a platform built by farmers and ranchers. And so, the feedback we get from other producers and even consumers is helps us lead the direction of what BusinessWideView puts out there. So it goes back to a line that I use quite frequently and probably will continue using, and that is, we're all in this together. And it's a lot easier to pull that rope if you're all pulling it in the same direction. But at the end of the day, we are all in this together, and so some of the efforts that BusinessWideView is doing is trying to bridge that gap where you come to one central location to get relevant educational agriculture information.
No, I love that, and bringing everybody together is extremely important. So
Yeah.
building on that, I want to know what's next for BusinessWideView and where kind of where you see your maybe your short-term goals and maybe your long-term 5 or 10-year goals. So BJ, why don't you start?
Sure. So our short-term goal is we've got quite a few partners, and we're always looking for partners. As we mentioned earlier, we're just a gosh darn farmers and ranchers, and so we don't have any experience in this space in this tech space, and we're trying to utilize modern technologies to promote the industry that we're passionate about. And so we're always looking for the expertise that can help us take BusinessWideView to the next level, because I think it's important. BusinessWideView has been growing at a very rapid pace, but without subject matter experts that got experience in doing this, it'd be great to have those partners continue supporting us like they have already. We actually just got AgVisor Pro as another partner. We've got Do More Ag, which is very important to me for the fact of they've got a new 24/7, 365-day hotline for people that are there in the ag industry that want to reach out and maybe need some counseling or just want to talk about different stress that they're having. So we're very stoked to have them on board as well. We've got folks like Team, the electronic auction mart, one of the largest electronic auction marts in Canada, and Agfinity is another supportive company of BusinessWideView from the beginning, where you can market your grain products. CLH Bid, they've been a huge support for us. If you then they sell farm and ranch land. So we've all and that's just going back to the example of all of us together. It makes life a lot easier if we all work together, and that's the goal for BusinessWideView.
That's awesome. How about for yourself, Skyler?
Yeah, BJ kind of touched on the long term or on the short term. I would say me for the long term, BJ, I'm sure, but just get agriculture more profitable and allow producers to not have to work off the farm and not have to work 18-hour days to get everything done. So yeah, let's make agriculture more profitable, because without us, or without agriculture, who knows what would happen.
Oh, touche to that. There is no doubt there. And yes, yeah, everybody. I mean, no one's in business to lose money. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your business is and what industry or anywhere. So yeah, that would be great. And again, getting the word out there and having people understand, the importance of, buying stuff around, buying from ranchers. God, even a while ago, we used to buy, share a quarter cow with somebody, right? Like, unfortunately, we did that more back in Sask when I could fit a freezer in my house. But I'd have to rearrange my entire garage to do that again now. But it's one of those things. But there are options out there, right? And especially if you want to do something like that and you want to have some meat, it's a heck of a lot more efficient to do that if you have your friends and trying to go and picking up a handful of steaks, from whoever you're going to support local, like a Sobeys or Safeway or Loblaws or whoever, right? So, there are things out there that people can do, especially now, even today, the interest rate went up again, right? So people are going to have less money. So, I mean, there are ways that, we can support local and save money. So I think that's a big thing. Again, I'm talking to BJ and Skyler of BusinessWideView, and we're having a great discussion about the ag community here in Alberta. So I'm pretty pumped. I'm pretty sad that it's coming to an end, our conversation, but it's been a really, a really good informative, conversation. So,
well, Jade, if I could just add one other point, and if you go to home.businesswideview.com, you can contact us, and it's all driven by feedback. So whether you're a producer or whether you're a consumer, if you're looking to hook up or want a ranch tour or a farm tour or just got a general question, or where can I get farm raised beef and buy it right from the producer, reach out to us. That's what Business Wide View's team does is we're an outlet to help in any way we can.
I love it. So, yeah, click on the website in the comments section, businesswideview.com, and we'll be able to go from there. So I guess the last question here is geared towards giving back and sharing a little advice. So we'll start with yourself, Skyler. If you had one piece of advice for a startup or entrepreneur, what would that be?
As hard as it is, I think at times for lots of us, is find a balance. Nothing is worth killing yourself over, or getting health issues or becoming a ball of stress. You have to have a balance. You have to appreciate the small stepping stones that you've achieved, whether that's an extra 2 followers or whatever it may be. Appreciate the small things. Pat yourself on the back. Take a break when you need it.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Look after yourself. We talk about that, and even us at Peer Guidance host, mental wellness events with entrepreneurs, and yeah, it's so important. BJ?
Yeah, no, totally. I don't quit. I mean, now that's easier said than done, but life throws curveballs in just everyday life. Being an entrepreneur or doing a startup, same sort of deal. So never give up. But on the same token, know your limits. Know your expertise. Know when to reach out for expertise that you may not have, and yeah, just keep rolling. And there's all sorts of support systems out there. Just jump on Mr. Google. You can find all sorts. So if you're struggling and it's maybe not your space that you're an expertise in, reach out to somebody. And networking is huge in anything. So have your network that you can reach out to and help guide you through some of the waters that you have to tread when you're doing a startup.
Absolutely. Both great answers. And there is no doubt, and we talk about this all the time, that asking for help is not a sign of weakness, right? It's something that, get in there, reach out to somebody, somebody will listen to you. There's so many supportive people out there, in the, Alberta tech or just Alberta business community in general, that will be there for you. So
Mhm.
I want to thank you guys so much for coming on and sharing your story and sharing your knowledge and for what you're doing, bringing the ag community together. So I'm looking forward, and hopefully we'll have a follow up conversation here maybe in a year or so to see how things are going. And I would love that. So if anybody wants any more information, you can please reach out to BJ or Skyler themselves. Go to their website, which is on the comment right in the comment section, businesswideview.com. And again, thank you so much for your time today. And we're going to celebrate the industry here with 5 more days of Stampede left as well. Get out there and support the community and everybody that's out there.
Yeah, totally. Dust your boots and hat off and enjoy the Calgary Stampede, the greatest outdoor show on earth, they say.
Oh, it sure is. I've got one pair of. I don't wear cowboy boots anymore because I tore my plantar, so I go with straight out runners because I'm scared. But I got my belt buckle, my one hat, and my one shirt, so I'm good to go.
Yeah, there you go. Well, thanks a bunch for having us, Jade. It's an honor being on your show, and thanks for the invite.
Oh, you're very welcome, and thank you again, Skyler, BJ. It's great, and I hope everybody enjoys the rest of the week. Happy stampeding, and we will see you next week. Have a great